Welcome to Metrica Province, dear tourist. I'm Naanless, and I'll be your tour guide in this little genius's paradise. I'm joined by Mudlerna, who will be our camera operator for today. Do you see the resemblance? That's my daughter. That's my daughter. I made her. Do you see the? Metrica Province is home to a plethora of Asuran labs, each focusing on their own unique fields of research. Although, right now, most of them are working on a revolutionary golem for the upcoming Golemancy contest. But no, Asurans aren't the only people to inhabit this land. Metrica Province holds 4 factions. Well, 5, but I don't know what the Skritt are doing in this little river. Sometimes they kidnap people. I don't know. The relics claim the swamps and like a fourth of a river. They're giant frog people who like to do giant frog people things, such as eating bugs and killing/robbing people. They're divided into 2 tribes. The red are pretty violent and conniving, but the blue are generally pretty friendly and tourist safe. If you're ever in doubt, just remember, if it's red, go back to bed. If it's blue, how do you do? The Skritt are a small humanoid rat-like people who tend to hang out in the subterranean areas of Metrica Province. You'll often find them collecting shinies, robbing shinies, or getting experimented on. No shinies. Just stay away from their stuff, and they should leave you alone. The Asuran/Lion Guard lay claim to most of the land, making it somewhat safe for your average tourist to meander to their heart's content. Just don't go petting the jaguars. And finally, the Inquest have labs sprinkled around the area. They're a newer Asuran faction that want to use and master the Eternal Alchemy to establish Asuran supremacy over the other Tyrian races. They don't believe that ethics have a place in the lab. It simply impedes progress. They've also been known to sabotage other colleges. If you happen to come across a member of the Inquest during your travels, simply point out that you're a solo traveler, with no weapons or social ties to the area whatsoever. They'll be too stunned and impressed by your sheer adventuring spirit to cause you any goddammit. For the more active tourists, Metrica Province has no shortage of people who are in need of an extra pair of hands. Most of the labs will gladly accept your aid. Take, for example, PRNT Esoterics. Here, they study the color-changing properties of the Oozernius ichthys. They're the forefront of ooze metachromatology research. Senior researcher Taka needs people to aid in her research by creating imitation oozes of varying colors through the swiping of various cards. So, if you're into Genshin Impact, you're gonna love PRNT Esoterics. Probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I heard from one of Taka's crew, with a K, that her obsession with ooze research is born from a dark, devastating backstory. You see, Taka was always top of her class in ooze science, but her boyfriend, let's call him Foodbird, wasn't quite so gifted. One day, the couple enjoyed a nice romantic riverside picnic. Wanting to impress her, Foodbird gathered up the local wild oozes and placed them into a bouquet for his beloved. Taka realized too late that one of the oozes was a carnivorous and violent species. It instantly swallowed Foodbird, digested him, and shit him out right then and there on their now Foodbird-soaked picnic blanket. So, out of sheer hatred, she dedicated her life to the study of oozes, hoping to, yes, find useful applications and uplift the Asura, but also to cause the ooze as much discomfort as possible during her experimentations. It's very romantic. Staying on the ooze train, you can also make yourself useful at Dr. Bleint's encampment. Bleint is a brilliant member of PRNT, who one day decided to leave and declare himself a doctor, without certificate or diploma. Wait, that's actually a good idea. Who's gonna stop you? Oh, Dr. Bleent is trying to distill drinks from ooze, but refuses to follow proper protocol. So, whenever he mixes ooze, it most of the time turns into a volatile mess, which has horrific consequences on the local fauna. The humble jungle worm is the most affected here. The escaped ooze actively kill them and corrupt their eggs. This blatant disregard for general lab safety procedures has spurred protesters to, well, protest. Senior investigator Oola is tasked with bringing Dr. Bleent to justice. But first, they need evidence. Evidence that you, my little adventuring tourist, will gather for them. If you're looking to aid in something a little more fucked, then look no further than the Brill Alliance labs. Here, they study the Skritt, more specifically their group intelligence. You see, a Skritt on its own has the IQ of a rock, but as their numbers increase, their collective intelligence rises exponentially. Researchers Lem and Yerk experiment to find out if there is a limit to this collective intelligence. While Lem despises the Skritt, she stays to aid in Yerk's research. His research being that he wants to find a way to apply the Skritt group intelligence to the Asura. You can aid by doing general maintenance work around the lab, or by joining the occasional raid to the Skritt's home and forcefully abducting them. For science! Lem and Yerk lead these expeditions into the local Skritt den, where morally bankrupt adventurers beat the native cave dwellers into submission and corral them back to the lab. Keep in mind that all actions shown on screen were performed by Mudlerna, and does not reflect on me or the Naanless brand whatsoever.
Stop picking on me! I'm a little guy!
It's pointless to resist. We have ways of convincing you.
Why are you covering me? I'm nice and stuff.
Where are we going? I'm not sure this is such a good idea. Who are you?
I am your friend. I am here to guide you to candy and ice cream.
It's in my head! Stop it!
I am your slave. Please don't kill me.
Excelsior! We
Don't
have
you
enough
make me
specimens
cry.
to begin.
You look hungry. I know a
Most
country we can
excellent.
make.
Let's get
Come
them
along.
back to the lab. I can't wait to begin the observations. This is so exciting.
Once imprisoned, the tests can begin.
IQ test question 156. A golem's energy core standard temperature is 52 degrees. It will overheat if it reaches 382 degrees. If the energy core heats up 3 degrees every 22 minutes, how long will it take for the golem to overheat?
You talk funny, and you smell that way too.
Due to their proximity to each other, the Skritt slowly gain intelligence and inevitably come to the conclusion that their situation is a bit grim, thus causing them to rebel.
What is 25 times 63?
One? No, wait. I've got it. 1,575. It's time, gang.
What? How is that possible?
Surprise! Here's how it's gonna be, morons. We're in charge now. Now you get to be our lab monkeys. Dance, monkeys, dance!
Worry not. Simply kill them for daring to rebel against progress.
Well, it's nice to have our lab back. Perhaps we can study more sensible things now. Like, say, magical explosions?
Nonsense. That last experiment was a rousing success. Beyond my expectations. I must know more.
To the southeast, Parna is attempting to repair an ancient gate. She hopes it will lead to ancient Asuran relics. Luckily, due to local adventurers and biblically powerful commanders/wayfinders, the gate is almost fully repaired. We actually have an agent on scene ready to join Parna's expedition and show you what you could be experiencing in the dark, decrepit, cobweb-filled underground of Metrica province. It looks like they found themselves in Calx's hideout, an ancient Asuran lab that used to belong to one of Parna's ancestors, named Calx. It looks really hot in there. Don't touch the magma. It's probably really hot. As Parna explores and loots, Mudlerna will deal with the wildlife that infested the place.
Calcitronics was pure genius. Even I wouldn't have thought of using crude copper to alter the magical resonance. The golems are... oh, very impressive. Primitive materials, ancient equipment, and yet such amazing results.
Finally, something interesting. An ancient console. Think of all the data it has to... Dear God! The ancient defense mechanisms are still in place. How much is a new camera operator gonna cost?
Destroy them and I'll be free.
It's not showing off. You earned it.
Stability. Something bad is coming. That energy field overloaded my plasma coupling. I can't maintain the field any longer.
Oh, I knew you could do it, Mudlerna. Fantastic job. Call off the hiring manager. If you're into the Asuran legends of old, this next spot will surely tickle your fancy. Oola's lab, once the workplace of the great counselor Oola. She was top of her field in the construction of constructs, which we now call golemancy. Fun fact about Oola, she once had a rivalry with her former apprentice Zin, which culminated in her bribing the Arcane Council into exiling him for 10 years. Get owned. Anyway, Oola may be long dead, but she left behind a little hologram that quizzes the user on her lab. Try it out. You may just leave feeling a little more whole. The real meat and potatoes of this place is the lab itself, which unfortunately is currently locked down. And trust me, I get your excitement, but please don't try to break in.
Help me. I'm hurt.
Instead, simply obliterate the local wildlife until they drop a little crystal, needed to open the door and disable the security systems. Alongside researcher Oral and his crew, you can scour Oola's lab for any interesting relics or knickknacks. It's important to mention that Oola dabbled in necromancy. She's successfully managed to combine it with golemancy, transcending her weak flesh by combining her soul with her prized golem's core. So, if you happen to see her ghost hurling insults at you and screaming for you to leave, simply do so, please, before she unleashes the full might of her lab on you.
Please, we don't want to fight.
Engage automated defenses. You will not abscond with my inventions.
Now, if you want to spend your vacation in a swamp surrounded by Helix for some reason, make sure you visit the Macadal Helix and not the Quaddle Helix. Remember, if it's red, you're dead. If it's blue, say, hey boo. The Macadal in the western swamp will gladly accept your aid in defending their village from Quaddle thieves, and in securing fireflies for their hungry, hungry bellies. Pro tip, if you bring them enough fireflies, one might let you stroke its extremely long tongue. And trust me, it's a magical experience. Anyway, if you're feeling like role-playing an 1800s European on this trip, look no further than the Eastern Swamp, home of the Quaddle Helix. They've been launching raids on Arterium Haven, a nearby Lion Guard outpost. Now, they're not strong enough to actually destabilize them, but it's still annoying, you know? So the Lion Guard have been hiring literally anybody around to just go into their village and simply cause havoc. If you're lucky, you'll be in the area when Deputy Tarf launches his own raid on the village. He usually just orders the Lion Guard and whoever happens to be nearby to simply decimate the village as a Lion Guard Skritt named Rikit loots the destruction. Oh wow! Look at that! Mudlerna even got the chance to slaughter their chieftain! How fun! don't worry about rendering them extinct, they have an extremely high birth rate. So they'll be back to healthy destroyable numbers by the time you visit Metrica province again. And don't feel bad for them. They once tried to hurt my girl Caracottle. Simply unforgivable. Alright, I'm sure most of you aren't vacationing to beat other living beings to death, right? So, for you non-psychotic tourists, Metrica province holds wonders to behold, from ancient historical buildings to regular, newer buildings. One close to my heart lies in the west. This place may look like an ordinary scrapyard to the uneducated traveler, but this actually used to be the site of the genius-operated living enchanted manifestation foundry, established in 1078 AE. This was a massive Golomancy lab, where Asura would work shoulder to shoulder, creating innovations that paved the path we walk on today. It was even given the status of place of ultra-mega importance in 1325 AE. It was even the workplace of legendary Golomancers like Oola, Sokka, Gad, and Vec. Unfortunately, it fell into ruin once the Asura abandoned it, opting instead to split off into multiple labs instead of one big whole. The split made it easier for them to safeguard inventions and breakthroughs from thieving, prying eyes. While this building lies in ruins, its history yet remains. Take, for example, this historic pillar, where the genius Sokka once took a nap. A nap which led him to the idea of Gollum summoning Asuran beacons. Truly magnificent. If you intend to visit, keep in mind that there is an Inquest lab called the Funhouse nearby, and Inquest agents have been seen prowling about the ruins, but, trust me, the pure euphoria you feel from standing in a place of such wonder, it's worth the risk. Enough about the past. Modern Asuran labs have no shortage of interesting views and vistas. In the interest of time, I'll quickly list some off, but if you find any fascinating or interesting and wish to know more, fucking Google it. Okay? I can't do everything for you, Jesus. The Insidergen Lab. The Metamystics Lab, where the youngins come to learn and grow. The Aeronautics Lab. The Opticalium Lab, which is all about the 3 E's: electricity, energy, and escalation. And finally, the Brill Alliance and PRNT Esoterics Labs, which we've already covered. You remember, right? For you thrill seekers and dubiously connected individuals, you may find pleasure in visiting the many Inquest labs that litter this region. Biocauldron Alchemics is one of them, and is situated right next to the Mikado Helek tribe. Here, they study the giant frogs and their hormones, hoping to enlarge Asurans. Ploint, an Inquest scientist, actually managed to create a serum that could achieve such results. But in typical Inquest fashion, it was stolen by Indri, another Inquest engineer. Now, you can find her deep in the lab somewhere in like a little chest room. Just give her a good walloping if you happen to come across her. Don't worry, it's not assault. The Inquest aren't people. Another Inquest lab can be found in the northeastern corner of the region. It's called the Inquest Complex. This giant red mess of a lab is where the Inquest allegedly have been kidnapping innocents in order to harness something called soul energy. So, watch out. During your visit, you may notice a part of the lab with heavily restricted access. The Inquest, in their villainy, chose to inhibit tourism in certain sections of their lab. Well, not on my watch. There happens to be a secret gateway in this cave over yonder, which leads directly into their restricted area. Grab some quick selfies, a souvenir, and skedaddle out of there with your life intact. For legal purposes, Mudlerna never stepped foot in that chamber. All footage shown was alchemy generated. A little lesser known Inquest lab lies underwater. The Aquanian Research Lab. Here, they study the local wildlife. It's small, it's quaint, and it's sort of just there, I guess. Alright, that's pretty much every tourist attraction in Metrica province. Except for one that I'm saving for later. My little secret. But I have a few locations that aren't technically for tourists or conducive to a continued life experience. If you want to go off the beaten path, check out this little riverbank in the northwest, at Fisher's Beach Bend, where a small crew is working on a concoction that makes you swim faster. They have some on sale, so bring your waterproof wallets, because sometimes the crate come out of the water to kidnap and detain any randoms who happen to be in the area. Nothing to worry about, simply don't get nabbed. But do wear your aqua breather in case you do get yoinked. They don't seem to care for your air when you're in their custody. Another spot you can check out is the Luminance Power Plant. This complex powers every lab in the region, and still has some excess left over to power an exciting new architectural project. The Asurans plan on creating a city that will rival Radasum, and this power plant will be its main grid. How exciting, but I have to legally warn you again, the Inquest have been known to bomb some of their conduit towers. You know, the famous ones, the three giant pillars, Scorn, Noop, and Kachong. Just keep that in mind. Now, this one's the most dangerous of them all. There's a cave in the north that's absolutely filled to the brim with spiders. Sometimes there's a giant one in there that is supposedly their queen. So, do with that what you will. Finally, the part you've all been waiting for. Now, I'm not talking about the meta. I'm talking about the wildlife. Cute critters and dangerous little munchkins as far as the eye can see. Metrica province is home to numerous species of animals, and we'll be looking at all of them and ranking them on the Mudlerna cuteness scale, so you know exactly which critters to look out for. So a 0 means that this thing is an affront to the absent gods, and 10 means that it's just as precious and cute as Mudlerna. Please don't go to HR. Alright, strap in, buckle up. We're going fast. All shell, no body. Grow the fuck up, 4 out of 10. Looks like it belongs in a suit. I'd give it an 8. That's probably as handsome as a worm's gonna get, right? That's like a 6. Spiders only suck when they're minuscule. This one has a little twinkle in its eye. 8 out of 10, adorable. Adorable in theory. Absolutely horrid in person. Get some fucking braces, asshole. Sorry. It just seems like it'd be really annoying to clean up on impact. 2 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Would let it eat my boyfriend any day. Pretty pink bird, 9 out of 10. Will absolutely kill you, but it's got a little something going on. 7 out of 10. Pretty little bird, 9 out of 10. Literally just a cat, 10 out of 10. I'm getting wow flashbacks. 8 out of 10. Rabbit. Horrific monstrosity. Gaping maw out of 10. This one glows. 3 out of 10. Take away the jaws, the claws, and the overall bloodthirstiness, and you got yourself a good one. 6 out of 10. Mosquito. What even is this thing? 1 out of 10. So much better scaled up. And he does a little jig. 7 out of 10. Absolutely ruined by its face. 4 out of 10. It's an evil dog on steroids. Still cute though. 9 out of 10. Simply a nerfed version of the pink one. 8 out of 10. Kinda cool, but it has that same soulless vibe you get when you stare into a gorilla's eyes. Like it'll just rip you apart for no reason. 2 out of 10. Horrifying little gusher worm, but I can see it as a marketable plushie. 3 out of 10. This one's kinda cool looking, and it's technically capable of giving hugs. 7 out of 10. Oh, we stan rats here. 10 out of 10. It's just sort of like a big lizard. Plus, this fucking Helix won't get out of the goddamn way. 5 out of 10. I've left the best for last. The humble micromite. The peak of Gollomancy. 10 out of 10. Alright, Now that those heckin' floofs are out of the way, let's talk about Chernobyl in the northwestern part of the region. The Thma Nova reactor, or more commonly known as the place where the giant red piñata spawns it. This massive ruin used to be an entire city, but an inquest experiment gone wrong led to a massive explosion that tore the fabric of reality. Because they were dabbling in chaos magic, the explosion opened a bunch of chaos rifts, which still pull random creatures from across Tyria to these ruins to this very day. I don't recommend visiting this spot if you're not properly equipped with like a hazmat suit or something. It's still heavily polluted with chaos materials and random wild beasts from across the globe. But if you simply must, I recommend you visit Ruba at the clean station first. In between loving her robot just a little too much, she will occasionally start an expedition into the Thma Nova reactor, with the hopes of cleaning up and containing the contamination. So join her and a couple hundred other godlike entities in escorting Clean through the facility. The fun part starts when Clean's radiolithic storage matrix overloads, causing his big, inflated, polluted belly to tighten until he can't hold it anymore, and releases all the contained energy into one giant fire elemental.
Contract accepted.
I'll destroy you!
This will end quickly.
Alright, that's pretty much it for Metrica Province. But I have one more secret for you long attention span having tourists. Come here, come here. If you head to a cave in the eastern part of the region, there's an exhilarating jumping puzzle that leads to Gome's lab. Who's Gome and why is his lab so high up? I don't know. He's just some psycho in the clouds. Go beat him up or something. Anyway, sit back, relax, and watch me, watch Mudlerna ace this shit.
Can you match my power? I can't take this.
There's still plenty left for you to explore in this Asuran-drenched land. So, what are you waiting for? Get in there and get that sweet, sweet map completion reward. You've made it to the end. I know, I get it. Life seems a little duller now, doesn't it? But worry not, another one is coming. This is a new format, and my favorite part of Guild Wars 2 has always been its exploration. So I'm trying to find a way to forcefully mix that part of Guild Wars 2 and my already existing editing style, so hopefully it works out well. Let me know what you think and what map you'd like to see next. Keep in mind that Mudlerna is level 26, and no, I refuse to use any of my level 80 boosts. Those are gonna stay in captivity forever. If you have extra time on your hands, consider checking out my Pathfinder series, if you're looking for a similar type of video. Or my streaming content. There are hundreds of VODs just waiting to keep your second monitor warm. Also, I heard that the legendary YouTuber JamJam just awoke from his slumber and recently uploaded. Just saying, I don't know. And as always, please like, sub, and focus your fleshy ocular bits on this wonderful outro.